Well, for so many years, these two were Northern Ireland teammates in the World Cup, but now they go head-to-head after two very well-received walk-ons. Quite the contrast. The wedding classic of Sweet Caroline and the Celtic punk of the Dropkick Murphys. But now the serious stuff is here to begin. Brendan Dolan and Daryl Gurney being pitted against one another. Obviously, they know each other like the backs of their respective hands. They have played each other 15 times previously. Gurney has won 11 of them, but only one of those meetings has come in the past 4 years. Brendan Dolan won it in Hildesheim last year, en route to a 9th Players' Championship win. His stock has fallen a little bit over the past few years, so much so that he wasn't involved in the victorious Northern Ireland World Cup team in Frankfurt earlier this year. It was such an emotional win for Daryl Gurney and Josh Rock. It was Gurney's first title of any variety this decade. You've got to go back to 2019 for the last time he tasted success in his own right, but he is a former winner of this title, winning it on the bullseye against Michael van Gerwen back in 2018. Can he rediscover that old magic, or will the experience of Brendan overpower Daryl Gurney? It should be a really good match. When we were talking, Nico, about games we were looking forward to, this was the first one that popped off the page for you. Why is that?
It's a derby game. Who doesn't like a derby match? Yes, Daryl has an excellent record against Brendan, but Brendan won their last meeting and their first meeting a shade over 11 years ago. But interestingly, when you look into their seasons,
97,
you wouldn't really have categorized Brendan as having the better floor season. If you haven't been paying attention to all 34 Players' Championship events and just maybe keeping your ear to the floor and looking at social media, you might think, well, surely Gurney's in better form. But from the floor, he hasn't been. Actually, Brendan's had the better year. Runner-up to Ross Smith on a day where Ross Smith was probably going to beat God. And 2 further semi-finals for the man known as Big Stuff to his pals. But miraculously, Dan, 1 quarter-final all season for Gurney. 1.
I think it's baffling, and I think people,
97,
because they witnessed him win the World Cup with Josh Rock, would automatically assume the floor form's being better. You add to that he's reached a quarter-final and a semi-final on the European Tour.
80.
And the assumption is there that Gurney will have done better. He hasn't, but he is still here as the number 40 seed.
'86. Brendan, you require 139.
This is a very difficult 3-dart out. What you're seeing from the somewhat new equipment of Brendan Dolan is how much they are leaning to the left those darts. Gurney's looking right, and right down the barrel of a 1-0 lead. Now, if you cast your eye at Brendan's new darts, they're incredibly ornate. They're so detailed, very contradictory to what his darts have looked like in the past, which have been very uncomplicated. These things are basically bejeweled. Gurney's been making a few tiny little tweaks to his equipment over the last season or two, trying to get the weighting of the barrel right so he can get the darts to sit the way he wants, particularly in the treble 20 department.
140.
Look how upright those darts are when they're hitting the board. I don't think there's anybody in World Darts who throws a dart softer than Brendan.
100.
Yeah, he does feather them in. very gentle follow through.
140.
Made it work for him. He's made it work for him for a lot of years. Hence why 14 years on from his history-making antics in Dublin, he's still here as a very good player and a dangerous player.
Absolutely. Made his debut in this tournament back in 2010. This was the shot that got him that 9-darter and his nickname. It's not going to give him an equalising leg right away. Now, historically, he does like double 16 and double 8. But with his darts leaning so far to the left at this point in time, it makes this shot a bit trickier if he gets the single 16. That's high enough. So is that one, so it's clear.
48. Daryl, you require.
But it's not clear enough to equalise, so Gurney has a chance of a ton plus check out and a 2-0 lead. And I am baffled that he's gone for treble 19. He's been using double 18 so much over the last couple of seasons. Why doesn't he try to leave it?
Can only assume it's just the habit of going for treble 19 and scoring visits. You get more match practice there.
8. Daryl, you require. 56.
Oh no. Now what does Gurney do this time? Funny that, isn't it? He's leaving double 18. It doesn't work a treat.
Brendan, you
And
require.
they're both missing in the top right corner.
Another miss for Brendan. Now leaves Madhouse.
No score. Daryl,
Now he's just mad.
36.
I think someone in the audience just called him Chinny. Nobody calls him that. It's obviously spurred him on.
Second leg, Daryl Gurney. Third leg, it's Daryl to throw first.
That nickname's not going to catch on. He's going to make sure of it. Now, Brendan made his debut in this tournament back in 2010. Gurney made his in 2015. It would only take him 3 years to win the thing.
140.
It's pretty impressive.
It was around that point where Daryl Gurney was in his darting pomp.
140.
Still got plenty more to give the sport, that's for sure. But these guys are both in the wake of Josh Rock now. He is firmly Northern Ireland's #1. Wasn't always so, but Northern Ireland is in such a good spot with its darts. Mansell, Rafferty,
139.
Dolan, Gurney, Rock. There are plenty of others coming through. Really nice to see. A small country that punches well above its weight in world sport.
I think an interesting
60.
subplot of this game is the fact that further down the line, there could be a close battle for that second World Cup spot, given that Josh Rock is probably going to be a top 8, maybe top 4 player before so long if he continues to progress. It will be he versus one of these two.
$105. Brendan, you require 164.
That scrap as that.
80.
Could have been in major trouble had he not found that treble 19 with the last shot. Might still be in trouble. Can't sneak it underneath, and that is the dart he's trying to figure out.
Brendan, you require.
There was a time when that was a guaranteed treble 20 on dart 2, and he just can't seem to find it as much in 2025. Needs to figure that out.
14 on treble. Bullseye for Brendan.
59. Daryl, you require 51.
That was right on line. He couldn't have thrown that any straighter towards the ball. Well, it's double 16 for 3-0 for Gurney. And he's not missing the key shots.
Full flag, it's Brendan to throw first. Game on.
You should never panic in this situation. Professional dart players will be 3-0 down. And when it's only one break of throw, you do not panic.
99.
But you really do have to win leg 4. Because if you're 2 breaks down, then you are leaning back at the edge of a cliff.
44.
Well, that's the point where the John Part horizon is reached. Closer to the finish line than the opposition's close to you.
The John Part horizon.
That is what it's been coined as.
96.
Cannot argue against a man as wise as John Part.
You can try, but you'd probably fail. That's more like it. That's the dart he's trying to get. Sometimes he just leads with that right shoulder a bit early and it goes a bit low, but that was perfectly pitched.
100.
And that might be part of the explanation as to why Gurney has dropped a bit from those standards, the fact that he can't hit the 180s with as much proficiency as he used to.
Well, facts are facts. He's not a 180 machine like he used to be. He's having to get better at other things like approach work, better mathematics, giving himself more chances at double by using switch shots.
140.
Situations like this, 7-8 years ago, you would have fancied him to get a maximum to leave tops. These days, not so much.
60. Brendan, you require 66.
Clickety click for Brendan to get his first leg, and he needs to get it soon. Good marker for it.
Game shot.
And very well used.
Brendan,
Didn't have to move on the hockey. Caresses his way to a 3-1 deficit. You asked me a question earlier, Mr. McCarthy, about Callan Ridds. Where's his game at, you said? I'm going to ask the same question of you for Brendan. Where's he at?
137.
I almost feel with Brendan that it's a case that he doesn't play as much darts as he used to because he's not a guarantee for the
95.
European Tour. So all of that particular stage practice and match time there, it hasn't been with him. I think he's only played at 1 Euro Tour this year.
120.
For that reason, he's probably feeling quite fresh coming to Minehead at the end of November. But he's only just inside the top 40 in the world.
58.
Fortunately for him, before the World Championship draw, Ricky Evans and Kevin Dutz, either side of the top 40, are both out. And the nearest person to him
100
in the world rankings who's still in the tournament is Willie O'Connor. He's at 42 and he's been playing very, very well of late.
One of Brendan's best mates on tour.
Brendan, you require 104.
There's no such thing as a pals act in a tournament. It's every dart player for themselves. I do believe one of the flights that Brendan's using has suffered a bit of a tear. I don't think he's noticed it yet.
58. Brendan, you require
This has been a bit of a meek leg from Gurney. So Dolan should cruise to 3-2 down. It is for a break of throw here. And that's exactly what he gets. Gurney will be devastated with the way he played in that fifth leg.
Brendan to throw first. Game on.
Dolan making a comeback. Gurney has been off it in the last 2 legs and left on 160 while Brendan Dolan's hit the
85.
leg-winning double.
By the way, we were talking about surprises, and Menzies losing to Lipscomb was an upset. But what about James Horrell beating Johnny Clayton
57.
on the main stage by 6 legs to 3? Fair play to the Hillbilly. He averaged 99. 43% in his doubles. That's a good performance. And Johnny Clayton has not had a good month.
134.
Now he had a pretty poor Grand Slam campaign for his very high standards. But yet in 2025, the Ferret has overall played some really good stuff. That win in Rosmarlin was superb.
It really was. It was superhuman. He's still the Welsh #1. But will he be by the end of the Worlds?
98.
There's that right shoulder just falling a little bit on that third dart once again, and it cost Gurney leaving a finish. Dolan was 3-0 down. He didn't panic. He's gradually starting to figure this out.
74.
It's not a tidy game by any means. But if you're in a scrap with Brendan Dolan, prepare for pain.
97.
Because he's won thousands of games on the Pro Tour like this in his career. Double 16. And he's on level terms. Just like that, he turns everything around.
7 flag, it's Daryl to throw first. Game on.
Just about to start on the main stage, you've got Ross Smith up against Ryan Meikle, who is Agent 65 in this tournament. Didn't qualify, but by the withdrawal of Nico Springer through illness, Meikle got the call and has found his way to Somerset to try and cause an upset against Smudger.
Lucky loser this weekend, Ryan Meikle. Very tricky first round draw though against Ross Smith.
60.
Could have been worse. Could have had Nico Springer. He prefers to play on the stage than the floor.
60.
This is not the kind of game I thought we were going to get from these two Northern Irish players. But maybe it's symptomatic of how much respect they've got for each other, that they're not quite ready to put their foot on their throat yet.
98.
Appears as though one of these two will have to grind. We're not going to get a burst of 12, 13 darters. It's going to be attritional.
25. 100.
He's throwing that third dart a little bit faster this time. I think he's starting to recognise that the third dart has not been good, so he's doing something different to try and make something happen. Could this be the key leg?
140.
Whoever wins it might feel like they're ready to move forward. Double 12.
72.
And a chance of losing 4 legs in a row for Gurney.
They were Daryl's first darts at double for quite some time. They weren't great darts.
60.
They were better, but weren't in.
Daryl, you require
Seriously close.
6.
I don't care who you are. You're not digging the fact that you're on double 3 right now. Hatch a plan and stick with it. That is a great dart, a world-class shot as well. Make the most of the fact that Brendan missed 2 at double 8 and he kisses the flight.
I can't help but notice that Daryl Gurney seems to be sponsored by a company called Madhouse at the top right of his shirt, and I thought that's where he was going to end up.
Could be worse, you get that tattooed on your hand.
140.
If you're not aware, Richie Edhouse, who is called Madhouse, has actually got his logo tattooed on his hand.
Like it.
59.
Have you got the asset tattooed anywhere on your anatomy?
Not a chance. Never even thought about it. In fact, today I think the most popular player judging by people wearing dart shirts in the audience, is Ryan Joyce. Because we've seen a collection of Ryan Joyce fans in the audience. Now, what do you call a collection of Ryan Joyce fans? It's called a packet of fans. They've all got their Tetris shirts on, all in a row. And they'll be happy that he's through to the next round.
I wonder which block they're sat in. You know, Tetris and everything.
Just about got there. And that dart did not from Dolan. A man who could have been Players' Champion himself 4 years ago. He lost out to Ryan Searle in the semi-finals by 11 legs to 6, and ultimately Searle would lose by the odd leg to Peter Wright. One of 4 Players' Champions who are in this draw this year. Gurney being one of them, Wright being one of them, Humphries, the reigning 2-time champion, and Gary Anderson, of course.
Double 10.
Well, it's risky going for the 2 here, isn't it? He's made his plan. He's going for double 5. That is incredible composure from Super Chin in what can only be described as a bit of a trudgy game at times. But after losing 3 legs in a row, he's fought back, and he might get 3 in a row again to get through to the next round to play either the aforementioned Ed House or Stephen Bunting.
I think it's fair to say that Stephen Bunting, for all of his successes over the last 2 years, has not been in tip-top form of late.
No, he hasn't.
Nor has Richie Edhouse.
Which makes that game very interesting indeed.
76.
Reputation does not win your darts matches. Good preparation and good form wins your darts matches. Just ask Cameron Menzies. Just ask Dave Chisnell, Johnny Clayton. They're all gone. You firmly believe we're going to get a 9th Players' Champion, don't you? You think Littler's going to win this tournament?
I can't see beyond him. Just for how dominant he's been in longer form matches. Now, Jeffrey de Graaf, we know, could pose him problems up on the main stage. If Littler bypasses that challenge, he could potentially have Ross Smith to deal with in round 2. And if he manages to dispatch a smudger, I just think the confidence is flowing so much within him now.
Well, it could be worse. You could be Luke Humphries, who's got Kian Van Veen in the first round.
That's a chef's kiss.
That's
round 1 game.
It's a great game for the neutral, but for Humphries, it's nightmare ridden. And if you think about the plight that Dolan's got right now, he's thinking, this has turned from a nightmare into a possible dream and back into a nightmare again.
Gurney won the first 3. Dolan won the next 3. And Gurney has not yet won the following 3 because he's hit the wrong double. So Brendan is back on 170.
All things come in threes, as they say. Well, these 3 darts will not keep Brendan in the tournament.
92.
The next 3 might be the darts that send Dolan out.
And that is what they do in the all Northern Irish battle.